Hi everyone, welcome to The Mediator. My name is Extel Mbaaja Dobgima and I'm going to be your host. The Mediator is a show that brings together people who have real life problems, real life situations, and are bringing it to the independent mediator to look at those circumstances from an independent lens. The whole goal is to ensure that we can meet in the middle, to look at the situation through a neutral lens and try to bring both parties to the middle, either for a reconciliation or closure. You can always find us with new episodes on RGTV every Thursday at 8 p.m. I hope you will sit back and enjoy all the great content that we have for you on this show. See you then. So what if I told you that you don't always have to part ways with the problems that you encounter? What if I told you that you can actually bring some of the situations that you deal with to a mediator, somebody who can be neutral, someone who can listen to your side, someone who can listen to the other person's side without any preconceived notions, and try to get the both of you to a resolution, to a reconciliation or a closure? Well, today we have one of such situations and we're going to talk about them. First, I have this without the people. I have the scenario written down, and so I'm going to read out the facts and we're going to break it down step by step, and hopefully this will bring some closure to the person. So let's look at this story. It starts out and she says, "My husband." We're going to assume rightly that this is a woman because she's talking about her husband and she talks about being pregnant. I'll get to the facts in a minute. "My husband works construction on a college campus. 2 weeks ago, I found a number in his phone. He admitted it was a 20-year-old girl he met on the campus. 3 days ago, he sent a friend request to a 21-year-old student." Now she says, "I'm 34. We have a 9-month-old and I'm 7 months pregnant, but I want a divorce. I feel like I'm too old for him and I'm just gonna keep getting older and he will abandon us eventually, so I'd rather leave before that happens." And here's the question for the mediator. Am I overreacting? Well, this is a loaded question and a loaded scenario, and first of all, I want to say thank you for submitting your real life problems so we can talk about it, or that I can give you an insight as to what's going on. And I'm hoping that through this medium, you'll be able to gain some wisdom about what to do and what your next steps are. Are you overreacting? Without me having as much information than what you have provided, I can tell that you are in a fear and flight mode. A fear and flight mode is a scenario where a person is so afraid, and you know that fear will magnify a thing in a person's mind. Your mind has already seen that your husband may be leaving you, coupled up with your insecurities, and so you are trying to flee. That's the flight mode. But if you take a step back and just really unpack this situation and just break it down into pieces, you might see that maybe the fear that you have and the insecurities that you have overstated the issue. So that's why we're here today, because I want to help you break it down. So let's move away from the fear and the flight and start to look at things for what it really is. The first thing is, I want you to uncover the truth. There's a problem. Without question, there is a problem. First of all, the problem not only being from your husband, but from the fact that you do not trust this man. This is evident in the fact that you are checking his phone. Maybe not that you don't completely trust him, but the trust is is shaky? What would have caused you to start to think that your husband no longer has his one vision or one mind towards you, and probably is being distracted or looking towards other people? So right there, we need to go into the source of truth. What's happening? What's eroding the trust? Is he no longer paying attention to you? Has he suddenly started throwing remarks at you and your body? What is it that triggered you to start looking into his phone? And because you thought you were going to find something and rightfully found something. So this is part of us unpacking what's going on. Rather than jumping initially into a divorce, oh, I want a divorce, and that's the flight mode. It's more like, what's happening here? The next thing that I want you to look at is, do your insecurities have a part to play? I know you said you have a 9-month-old and you are 7 months pregnant. And that can have a toll on any woman, feeling like she's not as attractive and she's not her usual self. And even more to that, your emotions are probably all over the place because of the hormones that you're dealing with. Having a little baby toddler and then being pregnant altogether could be difficult. But one other thing that I heard you say is that you are 34. How old is your husband? Because that's also another factual point that could help me in really pulling apart what's going on here. You are 34. Could this mean that you feel insecure about your own age? Could this mean that you are married to a man who is younger than you? Could this mean that you feel like you were strapped and had no choice and had to marry this person irrespective of the age? So I see fear, I see insecurity, I see a lot of things that come into play. Not to say that your fear is unfounded. It is, but I need for you to sit down with this man and have a true and an honest conversation. What's happening in this marriage? Do you feel unsupported? Do you feel unattractive? Or do you just need reassurance and validation? And this will go to the husband, that you have to validate and you have to reassure your wife. I know you've never been pregnant. You're a man, of course, never. But when a woman goes through pregnancy, especially a back-to-back pregnancy, there are chances that she's not even gotten back to her normal, usual self from a physical standpoint and even from her hormonal, her emotional standpoint. It's upon you to reaffirm, to reassure, to tell her that she's beautiful, to take her out. But let's get down to the real issue here. He took the number of a 21-year-old. Now set the rules in your marriage. Is that acceptable or is that not? Are you possessive and jealous? To an extent, everybody has some of those tendencies where you do not appreciate where your husband begins to take numbers or communicate with other women. Set the rules straight with him. So by the time he's flaunting those rules, you know what that means. But if you haven't set the rules and he has just innocently taken a 21-year-old's number, it could mean many things. It could mean several things. And then you find yourself edging towards the benefit of the doubt. But the thing about the benefit of the doubt and divorce is that you cannot take such a life-altering decision over something that you are not so sure about. So give it one chance. But this time around, set the stage and set the rules. This is our marriage and this is what I want and this is what we want. I will feel disrespected if I find out that you're communicating like this, this, and this. Set the stage about what you both are expecting in terms of validation and reassurance. And then if these things continue to persist, when all of this have been done or has been done, then you know that you have a man who is not dedicated to you, who is distracted by other women. Would it matter if this girl was 30 and not 21? Would it matter if he was talking to a 34-year-old just the same age as you? So let's keep that aside, right? And work on your confidence regarding your age. But let's bring it down to the real issue, front and center. Are you both committed to each other? Are you ready to build trust? Are you ready to reassure each other? Are you ready to talk about things and not run away in fear and flight mode? Are you ready to uncover the truth? And I tell you, you may uncover that truth and it's not what you want. You may uncover the truth and be like, yeah, right, I was right all along. But then when you're inching towards divorce, you know, without the doubt, that this man was not going to be committed, or is not committed, or was not in it for you. But here's my last point to you, dear sister. I need you to work on your insecurities. At the end of the day, you are beautiful, child, with child or without child. You are more than your body. You are more than your physical attributes. The 21-year-old is going to be 34 one day. You, the 34-year-old, will be 50 one day. But you have to see your value beyond the physical. You have to see your value beyond how you look. You have to see your value as something that is way deeper than what your husband can see. And if he doesn't see you beyond this physical body, then that by itself, it's a big problem. Fundamentally wrong. Hope this has helped you. And if you would like more clarity, more details, I'll leave in the comments on ways in which you can send further questions for further clarification. I hope this was enjoyable for every single one of you. And if you have any scenarios you would love to submit to the mediator, check the details in the comments. We'll be happy and more than glad to look into your specific scenario. Stay blessed.